the idea of volunteers connected to the mission more concrete for them. Have them share their testimonies, do that 30-second video. Play them for other people during those time periods. Make a t-shirt or have buttons. I think we all own button machines now. I'm a RE volunteer, ask me how, that kind of thing. Make it available and just make it a regular thing, and then highlight the different ways that the children as well as the adults are impacted by this program. I think just having the teachers talk about how much they've learned from it is one thing, but maybe having a child step forward and say, you know what, I didn't really care for older people until I met so-and-so, and now he's my friend. There are plenty of kids I could think of off the top of my head that would do that in a heartbeat in this congregation, and it's usually because of that volunteer who's taken the time to connect with that child. Expressing to others how well that connection was made is a great way of bringing in people and letting them see that they are wanted, needed, and that this is something that they are enjoying, not obligated to do.
And we have a button machine to lend if you don't have one, a really good one, and want to borrow it.
So think about your calendar of the things that are listed up here, weekly, monthly, biannually, whatever. What do you think you could put on your calendar this week or this month to celebrate or to thank and appreciate your volunteers?
Any thoughts? Anything that you do that you want to lift up for us as far as appreciating volunteers that you found has been successful?
Ellen would always told us about the annual RE dinner, which was at her home, and that people would actually volunteer to teach so that they could come to this special party.
We had a little bit of that when I was serving the Shelter Rock congregation too.
Where did they go? Do you know? There's a group meeting?
The group support group supposed to meet. We were supposed to be out of here by 2. We're not there yet. You're the first person I've seen.
All right, fine, we're okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do this last part really quickly. So community can be messy, and basically this is about conflict and resolution. And Jillian, you could probably read this part. But the idea that tension must be managed, and committing to observing and listening to your volunteers is really important. So some of the things that we commit to is doing our homework, which means that we set teams up for success by screening, by thinking ahead of time who's going to get along well in the classroom, and observing new volunteers, all of those things, doing our own homework. But also, of course, keeping someone in the wrong role. You are choosing for others to leave, right? Because I've definitely seen this happen in more than once, where you have one volunteer who kind of ruins it for everyone, and you're not, and I'll say, I was not in a place where I felt like I could fire the volunteer, and then other volunteers left as a result, right? That was me not moving into conflict in a healthy way, in a way that I should have. So as assess if this is a lousy volunteer or an awesome volunteer in the wrong role, right? So we were talking about one of your volunteers who might serve better in another role. Keep in mind your credibility as a leader is determined by whether or not you will make the tough decisions in a timely manner. So, failing to solve an issue can quickly overturn the positive volunteer culture you've built. Sometimes you just have to ask yourself, is there a person or a policy undermining the culture of the mission of your congregation, and if so, that addressing it quickly, being brave, be decisive, be tender, but address it, and accept all feedback as a gift. So this idea of being approachable and being a listener and being humble. In our huddles every week, I ask for feedback. How's it going? And so I may not ask it of every person. Usually I'm asking it of the first couple of volunteers who kind of wander in and we're waiting for the others. But I do ask for feedback. And so they know that they can approach me and Jermaine, and they do, with feedback. We have a culture of feedback here. And then the final one I love, this is pure orange, observation, interpretation, and clarification, OIC or OIC. So it starts with the observation, so you notice something that you're not comfortable with or you think violates maybe a policy or procedure. And then you form an interpretation of the situation by observing, and then you ask the individual for clarification regarding what you observed, right? So putting that into practice is also a way in which you can keep things from getting messy. And so approaching a problem when you see it is important. I think the example they used in Orange was she witnessed a youth group leader who was supposed to be actively engaging youth, sort of stepping back and on their phone. And so what she did was she observed this, like why is this volunteer not engaging the youth, and they're on the phone for a while, and then she asked afterwards, because I saw that you were on your phone during during this time, and ultimately the reality was that she had gotten an emergency post from a family member that someone had just gone into the hospital, right? She had to take care of it right that minute. But clarification, like knowing why. And then the other option was, she said, or the volunteer said to me, I just don't know I'm really struggling, I'm new, and I just don't know how to engage these youth. And she's like, oh, okay, well then we can work with that too, So again, the 3 strategies that we covered was the celebrate their significance, provide first-class support, and then finally
We can use another room, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, we could use another room, it's not a big deal.
Okay, well, we're almost done here.
All right.
Yeah, okay. And then the fueling the meaningful connections. And the final one that you would find in the book is empowering their passions. So this is the book. It has a lot more, obviously, than what we talked about, but that was just a very brief, structured outline of it. So.
And I would also grab the new breed, the 21st Century Volunteer Empowering Them.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good read that aligns perfectly with that.
Great.
I think there is a volunteer book called Connect as well.
So I hope this was useful in some way.
And I guess Andrea's going to make this video available for review later and for other people who couldn't be here today.
And we can get worksheets too.